In Norway, which is where I live right now, I sort of understand it because everybody has enough money or more money than they know what to do with. So they're more into, should I buy the third 52-inch screen or the new iPhone? Those are when your belly is full and you're content, that's all you really want to do. You don't want to get involved in a battle against the government or break any laws. You don't want to do that. What do you call that in English? When you get complacent, is that it?
Exactly. Yeah. That's so much everywhere. I mean, but in I don't know. I mean, let me ask you this: in the U.S., we have a real big disparity between rich and poor people. There's a lot of people that don't. I mean, they work really hard all day and they don't make enough money to survive. Some people have two jobs just to survive here. It's really a horrible place. So, but these people still always support the rich, support the corporations, and love their Democrats or their Republicans, and will stand by them forever. What would be the way to get these people to wake up and see that we need something different, in your opinion? Because I have no idea. I've tried so many different ways.
Well, the disparity, if that's the right word, between
Yeah.
the the rich and the poor, or the ever increasing gap in the U.S. between the middle class and the very rich, uh, it is bound for something to happen. I'll get back to that. Um, the thing is, in the US and maybe everywhere else, we have let this happen. We have used our votes, but we haven't used our votes in a proper way, if you will, because still these governments are formed uh, that are based on corporations' money. And why that happens, not really sure. May in your country may have something to do with the allure of the American dream, but I do not know
You, you
whoever.
know, you know, everybody here, not everybody, but that's a generality, but a lot of people here, they truly believe that if they work hard enough, they'll be a billionaire. They have a chance. And I try to explain to these people, like, you've worked at this job 20 years, you can hardly survive. You live in a tiny little place, you're having trouble paying your bills, and you feel you didn't work hard enough to be a billionaire. They don't realize most billionaires are born billionaires, most of them. I know there's some that, but everybody here does have that American dream, like, oh, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have millions of dollars. I'm going to have, and then as time goes by, they don't have it, but they still keep believing that's the case, and they're just a failure, not the system. I don't know how to combat that either.
Well, what's going to happen in time? Because what, what is it called in English? Time is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in time is simply this: things are going to get so bad that people will revolt. When that is going to happen, I have no idea. But surely, when the water has become too expensive to buy, and there is little or no food to put on the tables of on the table of your children, then something is going to happen. There is going to be violence. There is going to be blood. Uh, we know this because all of your country and maybe some of ours have been militarized. You don't see the local sheriff wandering around with his sheriff cap tipped backwards and a 38 on his hip. They're fully militarized. Just look at the people in North Dakota right now that are are simply running over the indigenous people with military equipment. At some point, a lot of the people are going to get really pissed off, and there's going to be blood in the streets. I want to end my little rant here with the following thing I read just 3 or 4 days ago. It was a report that stated that 80% of the U.S. population were $200 per week away from destitution, being really poor or qualifying as a UN, qualifying as the against the UN standard of poor people.
Yeah, I believe it. That seems, from what I see, that seems like pretty legit.
So I don't know. Next year, the year after, we're going to be seeing more people, not just the inner city people, of which quite a lot are African Americans, uh, but the inner city people with no education and no future, when it comes to finding a job, they will simply not take it anymore. You do know hungry people will revolt.
Yeah, I don't want it to have to get to that, but I mean, everybody I talk to and me myself, we all see it coming. We don't know when or how, but we see something horrible around the horizon. It's not getting any better here. It's more like they're locking us down every way they can, every time they can, taking away this right, that right. Everything becomes criminalized. It's terrible. I mean, really, I never, and it only gets worse. I don't even know how to make it better. These people keep doing the same thing over and over again, voting for the same people, believing the same lies, teaching their children the same bullshit, patriotic, this and that. It's like they brainwash people from birth here to believe that the system they're in is so free, and it's not free at all.
Mm. One of the central things that Intel Group makes sure that we spread is that message that Anonymous is nonviolent at its core from the beginning. So we and good parts of Anonymous try to say that as often as we can. But at some point in the future, when we are met with militarized police forces, there's going to be no way around it. You will never see Anonymous except shills or feds or snitches. They will market, let's start an armed revolution. But real Anons will never do that. But again, as at one point, something will happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable. I was talking to a couple activists a few shows back, and I asked them the same thing because they were like, it has to be peaceful, and I said, well, how long can you have peaceful protest against a violent government that doesn't care, that attacks your people? Because eventually, if you get a big enough protest, I mean, I was here, the LA riots, they brought in the National Guard and started shooting people, citizens, and that's how it ended. People were scared to go back out in the streets to do anything. So, I mean, I have no doubt our military and police would shoot us down in a second if given the order. And it's really just insane.
Yeah. So you were brought up in LA then.
Yes.
So you went through all of these big events. Uh, well, it started with the LA riots, right?
Well, I mean,
Uh,
the Watts riots were before, but I wasn't alive then. That was in the '60s. But the LA riots were in '92, and I was around for those.
mm.
It
And
was
then you
it
had
was surreal.
yeah, and then you had was it a few years after that the football player that allegedly killed his
OJ Simpson, yeah.
the O.J. Simpson thing must have been tense too, right?
He, honestly, I was hospitalized and couldn't walk during that, so I was angry because I could only lay in front of the television, and that was the only thing on. I couldn't watch anything else, and it was just so I didn't even care about it at the time. But yeah, it was a big deal, and everyone was all into that. Um,
Well, I just saw I digress, but I just saw a documentary about the, what should I call it, introduction of crack cocaine into in California,
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and, and the CIA's participation in that.
Yeah,
Uh,
The CIA brought it in, and they basically, there was a dude named Freeway Rick Ross and a couple other cats, but I know they allowed these guys to become really like huge drug dealers and just spread the crack all through the West Coast and through the whole country eventually. Yeah, he's one of the most famous gangsters. Everybody knows Freeway Rick's name. But yeah, the CIA did. Then they locked him away. They turned on him and locked him up for a long time.
but speaking from as someone from across the pond, as we say,
Yeah,
uh, it is sometimes quite incredible to us how you all just accept the police shooting everybody. Not everybody, I know, not everybody, but shooting people that are unarmed and stuff like that. We just don't get how you do not rise up and say enough is enough. What do you think that is about?
you know what I think it is. I think because a lot of us do. I mean, I a lot of us are furious about it. A lot of us go out and protest, but not enough. But what I think it is like I said before, they brainwash us here from birth. So along with the patriotism and everything, you hear the policemen are your friends, the policemen are good guys, and a lot of people in the inner city, and of course black people and his Latino people and natives and non-white people, they got to deal with that daily. But the majority of the U.S. still is white, and these people say policemen are our friends. Those people are criminals. I mean, look at Donald Trump. These people are racist. A lot of them, like blatantly racist. And if they're not showing it, it's in their mentality. So they're like, oh, he was Mexican or he was black. He's a criminal. And the sick thing is, a lot of black and Mexican people do the same thing. If the police shot him, he's a criminal. Why else would he be doing that? Why else would that be going on? And it's just nobody wants to really wake up. I think more and more now people are starting to see, but I mean, you got to realize this isn't anything new here. This has been going on way before video cameras.
Yeah.
These police here are corrupt, and they always have been, and they've picked on communities of color more than anything else throughout history. I mean, our police started as slave patrols going to catch runaway slaves, which they considered white people's property. That's where the police in the United States were founded and evolved from that. So
So it's more, it's like a heritage from the South and from a couple of hundred years back, maybe.
yeah, I mean, it's a horrible thing, but people think they're heroes. It's like soldiers. They go and invade another country and kill innocent people and come back here and they do all this and to raise funds for corporations. They come back here and the people say, "Oh, thank you for for our freedom. Thank you for standing up to keep me free." And in my mind, I'm like, how the hell are they invading another country, robbing them blind, killing people? How is that keeping you free? But these people have no clue. They're so brainwashed here, man. You're lucky you're not from here, honestly.
Well, I don't have any solutions to anything really. I'm not an intellectual by any means, but I do know that education is a key. And again, from the outside, it just looks like you're going to school, to college, just to actually get a lot of debt and party a lot. That's what it looks like. And if you don't learn anything in school or later in college, no wonder you're, well, making some bad decisions or are not open to seeing what the fuck is wrong here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people with college degrees that are homeless too here. An education here doesn't guarantee you're going to have a good job or anything.